what I feel we're obligated to talk about, even though we're not a current events podcast explicitly.
Oh, okay. I see where this is going. Got it.
Yeah, we have to do it. Okay,
We
we
got
gotta
to
do
talk
it.
about this big Hib civil war that's going on.
The Hib Hob Civil War. I told you on the phone, it's like we can't avoid it. It may be the most significant development in modern hip hop. It's happening. But I'm going to make my point before we get into the Styles P review, because I got it all written out, what I want to say, because this is unfortunately not what people think it is. This is so much more. It's deeper than rap, as one of the people involved would say. Oh, you know? So I figure, hey, if you're listening to this, you might be on YouTube, because I've decided we've what's the word, broached the topic a couple times thus far. You know, there's going to be a part 1, a part 2. This is part 3 that you're listening to. Part 1, you know, is going to be basically dated when we talked to Jesse on April 4th on the T.I. review. You know,
this was pre J. Cole diss.
This was the pre J. Cole
retraction, and this was post like that, right? Or is that the name of the record?
That would be part 1 on YouTube. Part 2 is going to be the conversation that you and I had later on in that T.I. review, which was on April 8th. This was post Cole diss and retraction. What we're recording right now is part 3. It is April 15th. It's 8:15 right now p.m. on the East Coast. And this is post Drake response. And Ross response and a bunch of other shenanigans. So you want to get into this?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, because you know me, I actually don't, but we have to. We can't act like it's not happening. So I feel like, yeah, we decided to contain it to the top of this Patreon thing, isolate it, put it on YouTube. They got it.
So I mean, you know, we'll start with what push-ups is the name of the record.
I figured this is how we'll start. So let's just say this: round 1, right? First things first. No, it didn't start with first-person shooter. People have been saying that. That wasn't a diss, nor was it intended to be. To me, Kendrick just used that as a springboard to launch the round with Like That. So it's been Like That versus 7-Minute Drill versus Push-Ups by Drake.
But now 7-Minute Drill has been disqualified.
Cole got himself disqualified. He will not get another title shot. He's been moved to NXT as far as I'm concerned. So in my opinion, Drake won the round. Like That was a 6, 7-Minute Drill was a 6, Push-Ups is an 8-. I'm treating this like Rap Express because we have a mixtape review to do, so I'm not going to explain my ratings. If you want to know, hit me privately. But to me, it's Drake 1, Kendrick 0, Cole's disqualified. How do you feel about the round?
I don't agree with your rating.
Okay.
Necessarily.
Of the songs.
I mean, I wouldn't go that high on the Drake record.
Okay.
There's certainly moments on it that really pop me. You know, and I think overall, especially given the fact that he has multiple people he has to address on this record, whereas Kendrick is only addressing him.
Well,
you know,
Cole,
I think the handicap of Kendrick only getting a guest feature verse, therefore like a 16, versus Drake doing a whole record. The handicap is Drake is doing a whole record, but it's, you know, his attention is divided in so many different directions that it's about an equivalent number of bars towards each other.
All right.
I think Drake was better than Kendrick. I do. And I mean, I've already spoken on Cole now twice, and I'm not looking to relitigate any of that because, as I said, he is disqualified from this. I thought Drake had definitely a better response overall, a good mix of kind of playful, like playground insults and whatnot, and some harder bars as well in there.
If these ever get, you know, commercialized, we may end up encountering them in a formal sense, you know, in an actual review. So I'll talk about it.
I feel, 7+ for me.
Okay.
On that one. Obviously the Who Kid drop and the 50, you know, the 50 reference and shout out on the song was great. How the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 men's on is great. There were plenty of things. Metro Shut the Fuck Up and Make Some Drums Redacted is the best thing I've heard since Pete Rock got told Make My Beats Redacted by CL Smooth. There's some memorable moments, and that's in a modern day context for what these diss records are nowadays. I think it checked the boxes. It was a good diss record, and now is Kendrick's chance to beat the allegations. And the allegations are that he's not battle tested and he's never taken a battle to round 2. So let's see, now that he's been responded to, what he's got. I'll say this though, the information that leaked out there that apparently he's had a record recorded, now a diss record against Drake in the vault for 4 years. I hope that's not what he's planning on putting out, because you're in the heat of battle. You have to write in response to what the diss that was written about you is, not, play an old record.
All right.
So, yeah, right now I feel like, but it's not just Drake versus Kendrick, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. That's the main event, Drake versus Kendrick, but there are bit players in this, obviously. And that's why I say Drake's kind of still...
It seems like, he's working the B pay-per-view against Rick Ross before he wrestles Kendrick at the big stadium show.
Yeah, and that's why he's still behind in the court of public opinion, it seems. Because it was lit when Push-Ups leaked, but then Ross stole the thunder, which leads to my other point. So the Ross diss, it's simple as this to me. Lackluster song, good antics. Because
better
we talked about
song
this.
Than Like That to me. Second best song of the diss cycle so far.
Okay.
6+. The thing about the record is this. It's a pretty run-of-the-mill Rick Ross record in terms of what he's been delivering the last couple years. Mm-hmm. I don't think the record, like the disses in the record, aren't especially biting to me. So I didn't love the song. It's the shit talk at the end, which he definitely cribbed from his time, beefing with 50 Cent back in the day, where, he was dealing with all that. And it's all that shit talk at the end that really, up the entertainment value. And, the whole white boy thing I saw really is what stuck from all of that. That's what people have been running with. The nose job and the BBL Drizzy and the white boy stuff. That's what people are latching onto. I don't love the record. You feel me?
Of course, because I'm gonna Moles and Mel Connect 6+. It's a standard Rick Ross song outside of the Drake centric lines. I mean, there are points in the song where he's just rapping about rap, like whatever. It's not even all the way about Drake. It's the shit talk at the end, which is very 50-esque and better than damn near all the bars. Like, look, you're a white boy, you never wanted to be black, the cease and desist accusations, that all hits. What doesn't hit for me is the IG antics. Okay. And I can't look, we got people going up for the 6th grade insults, BBL Drizzy, Cupcake Drake. That doesn't move me, because these are the same people, mind you, that were like, oh, Drake, whoop-de-doo, you said Kendrick's short and has small shoes. They're having a field day with BBL Drizzy. So I feel like, pick a K.
Well, it's a rap battle. I mean, it's par for the course.
Oh, absolutely. You're going to get the playground shit, the insults.
But as I was saying, when Push-Ups dropped, all that throating for the Kung Fu practitioner was over. And I said it was, high time for us to acknowledge the Kendrick crybabies out there, because we've already acknowledged the Drake dumbasses.
Right.
We're not under any illusions that these guys aren't all fucking clowns who are past their prime.
Well, look, we said it in part one and part 2 of this ongoing Big 3 conversation that we've,
some people claim to not have a dog in the fight. Okay.
Look, I'm going to say this. I'm as unmoved. Like you said, you like the size 7 stuff. That and him calling him a midget, that stuff didn't move me. The Metro line did. That was hard. The implication that, he owed 50% of all his stuff to Top Dog, that was hard.
It's a rap battle. You got to go for some low blows at different points.
Yeah, you got to do the low-hanging fruit as much as,
because here's the thing. All different types of people are listening to the record, too. You need surgical bars that are, you know, kind of warranting repeat listens so you can decode them. And you need that low hanging fruit so it resonates just like off first listen.
Well, with the lowest common denominator as well.
And exactly. And with the lowest common denominator, because sometimes, like, you know, it's very Trumpian, honestly, because, you know, it's an era where like you just give someone a nickname or hit them with like a playground insult and you win.
Right. Sleepy Joe of it all, you know? Yeah, so here we are. Like, I don't care about BBL Drizzy any more than I do about
but it's sticking. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
no, and I get it. Right?
When you're looking at a battle, you do have to be somewhat objective and see. You know, you have to read the tea leaves. You have to see how people are reacting to it, and you have to see what sticks at the end of the day.
You in this era, especially, have to have a mix of fact and actual, you know, plausible. Like, he might have a point there, as well as, you know, the just scandalous, immature joking.
Nas won the battle against Jay-Z, and Ether's full of lies and inaccuracies.
Right. Rap beef is built around lies. Like, right. I expect lies. It's just all lies aren't made equally.
Right.
Certain lies don't move me as much as other lies, you know?
We talked privately about an element of this whole thing that I think you nailed.
I'm going to get into it.
Very succinctly, but like I'm 100% lockstep with you on that. So, I mean, I don't have much to add on that front when it comes to some of, I guess, like the digital warfare that we're witnessing that's kind of unprecedented for a rap beef of this scale, I would say.
That part specifically, I had to make sure I had written out because I want to be clear because it's the most important part of this conversation that we're having. But I'll just say this, like the Ross thing, cute. I think he's definitely laying it on too thick at this point on the IG. Like, it's all right, we get it, bro.
Well, there comes a point, like, listen, Drew McIntyre has been money over the last couple weeks, right? But there was a promo that he did, it might have been the one right before Mania, where I thought he was leaning a little too much into the memery and the Reddit of it all. And you could go from being someone who is, I think, like, very funny online to being someone who's very annoying online pretty quickly. And
the way his stories are looking, it's like DJ Khaled style. It's like 40 stories, bro.
Right. And it's like, the joke has run its course. Like,
exactly.
There comes a point where funny stops being funny and starts being kind of like annoying.
You know? Yeah. So, look, I personally don't think that Ross track warrants a response, but he can go for it, obviously. I think it's a distraction. I say only rap back.
I think after all, it's not just the track, you know what I mean? It's like after all the shit talk, I think he's owed one more record at the very least.
I say if Drake does it, you need to get a 50 feature and incorporate Wu Kid again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, Wu Kid acknowledged that, I guess, because I was wondering, like, was this just him being a rap mark and, you know, cribbing the drop to call back to a time where things were, you know, always like this? But Who Kid acknowledged it on his IG.
Nah, bro, that's TNA superstar DJ Who Kid. Okay, he knows what's going on.
There you go. So yeah, that's the raw. Oh, by the way, niggas taking that, you know, we discussed it, likely staged Drake text with his mom. I think they're taking it way too seriously because they hate Drake. That was jokes, not a serious call for like, hey, foul, he's being racist. Like, of course they want to say that because Drake did the press release with the push thing.
It's corny like, either way because...
Yeah, it's cheesy. It's corny, but like, he's not seriously like he's racist.
It's not a real text message. That much is clear.
I'm on your side because you pointed out, like, it looks like, oh, you've never talked to your mom before this day? Because
if you've never texted your mom before, and Mel said, well, what if he has a new phone? And I said, well, it's iMessage, it's iCloud, so it would just show up. The history would still be there.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be conversation before that.
It's clearly a fake, it's like a burner number that he wrote that out himself because he wanted to post that.
Yeah, which is strange, but
his mom is not following the developments of HIB.
Yeah, I don't know. And if she is, I mean, look, it's whatever. Like, Drake's not seriously saying, hey, no fair, you're racist. Like, but of course, yeah. But look, this is where we are, okay?
It was corny.
Where's my boy?
It was corny.
I mean, it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary for sure. Here we go. Listen, Ross, whatever. Like,
this is pretty good, but you know what I really want.
We're waiting on Kendrick to start round 2, like we discussed the first time.
And the proper Future and Metro diss that he teased at the end of Push-Ups.
Yeah, because I thought at the end of Push-Ups, like that was the Future cadence.
But this is Dipset member Aubrey Graham. I mean, at this point, he should do a G-Unit radio and he should get the chain. 50 should make him an honorary member of G-Unit. Replace Lloyd Banks with Drake.
Yeah, hey, I just say get 50 on the response if you're gonna rat back at Ross. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, look, we're waiting on Kendrick to start round 2. We discussed what round 2 means when Jesse was on, so that would be part 1 of these YouTube excerpts. But hey, I said he has 3 weeks from the Drake diss dropping, or a week.
He has to come more directly than on the Future record, and he needs to. I think he needs to hurt Drake in our eyes. Like, ultimately, this shit is personal now. So it's on some, like, you got to make the other guy Ja Rule, basically.
Well, I think Drake is trying to make Kendrick Ja Rule, like you said on the phone, like, that's what it feels like, but.
That's where we're at now. I mean, that's the energy that Ross is bringing to Drake. He wants to discredit Drake in the eyes of the people.
Yeah, we're going to find out. I do believe Kendrick will respond. But yeah, he's on the clock. I say if Drake took 3 weeks from the first Future album, then Kendrick has 3 weeks as well.
Kendrick has till May 4th. Okay, May the 4th be with him.
Oh, brother. Speak of Reddit. Yeah, but here's the thing. This is what I truly need to say regarding all this. And this is the most important thing I want to say. We are in the worst times. What we're witnessing is the dystopia that we've been talking about on this program of ours for years regarding the AI of it all. I'll just start by reading what I wrote to my friend Briar last night. I said, what I hate is the reasonable possibility that Drake is leaking things, then playing off of people's uncertainty about what's real and what isn't to gauge whether he should own something because he's not confident enough to make a move and stand on it. That's what I wrote to him. Now, look, I was seeing that take, the idea that like, he was leaking it himself and it's like he's counting on people's uncertain. Look, I saw it from everyone.
I mean, there's more than just that, though. I mean, there's what he was doing prior to this beef with Pusha T by getting those AI images of Pusha T kissing lizards.
Well, no, prior to this beef with Kendrick. Yeah, we've seen the bots under tweets, like...
The bots are like, disseminating very disgusting artwork.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing about Drake, man. All right. I know about him. You know about him. He readily adopts the best and worst trends of the day. He's not the kind of guy to shun AI or, talk about the danger of it. The Pusha T bots, the Kendrick bots, the Weeknd AI generated imagery, all of that is up his alley. Before I got on the mic, he threw up that IG story of Metro's face deep faked onto that guy in Drumline, playing off the line from the
By the way, not to mention, Kendrick disses to Drake that aren't actually real and are clearly AI generated.
Well, I can't even say clearly. We don't know, and that's the problem.
Well, no, I'm talking about there's like fake Kendrick disses out there that like, this is like a snippet from his diss. And
no, that's what I'm talking about.
But it's AI, but it's AI generated Kendrick.
Perhaps. And I'll explain why perhaps. Like, look, people were making this conspiracy up as if it was fact. I saw the journalist fucks, I saw randos, and I dismissed it at first. I'm like, this is just the usual Drake hater wet dream fodder. But after this, like Drake, extra diss, like this, the High Whitney one where he's talking about Kendrick's girl, I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat, okay? Because I'm not buying Drake's message to academics about it being AI. Because he messaged, academics played it on some stream, and Drake messaged him like, it's fake, 100%. This one's suspicious, and here's why. There are 3 reasons. I'm just going to read them. Number 1, the date. As of today, it was uploaded 9 days ago. It's April 15th. When I saw it last night, the channel had 1 subscriber and only that video. Oddly, it still only has 1 subscriber, but it has 7.3 thousand views now and 47 likes as of me gathering this info. People said, oh, if it's been up that long and it's just now being talked about, it must be fake. Well, I don't see the correlation with that. In fact, I think that logic supports me even more. It looks like the channel was made solely to host that leak, and the video was unprivated recently. The main reason I focus on the date is because the upload date predates the leak of push-ups by many days. So I don't think it's some AI generating idiot capitalizing off of the content of push-ups and doing fan fiction.
But you don't think that perhaps Drake is putting out bad Kendrick disses?
No, I do.
Jobbers rapping what they would envision a Kendrick Drake diss to sound like, and then putting the AI Kendrick voice filter over it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm getting there because it's like, it's a whole thing. This is why it's so nasty. But like, yeah, part 1, the date's weird. Number 2, we discussed this, the content. It tracks with everything he was talking about in push-ups. And this was uploaded before push-ups leaked. Like, he's talking about living with Whitney and interior decorators, incorporating owls. All of the writing feels a little too inspired and humorous to be someone doing like the AI shenanigans. It's consistent with Drake's brand of line stepping. He's always involving people's women. And the main thing to me that I'm focusing on, I don't see some like AI goof talking about Grand Poobah. That's way too esoteric and hip hop for someone cosplaying Drake, who's a hip hop nerd. We know this.
Go back and listen to the Weeknd and Drake fake AI song by that guy Ghostwriter.
Yeah, please do.
How rudimentary the rhymes are, and not only the rhymes, but the references to people like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez.
Yeah, because that's the thing. From what I've heard, people can't help but reduce Drake to like the meme of him, the caricature of him, like the surface level aspects of his persona, their idea of Drake, not what Drake actually is. I don't think those people are going to write about Grand Poobah.
These AI people are not really like hip hop heads. They're real like techies, basically, who have a passing interest in like contemporary popular rap.
Right. Exactly. This is just a little too involved to me, you know, like, and that leads into my third point. The third smoking gun. The staging is weird. Why would someone go through the trouble of not only making an AI record, but staging it like it was being played out of studio speakers for people that you can hear reacting to it? Like, are people that bored? Like, look, I wouldn't put it past them. The world's a madhouse, but it's very
only,
extra.
Like, devil's advocate explanation for that is to cover up the AI of it all, to make it sound more natural and that it's coming from something. So you're not hearing it directly, where you can hear like artifacting and stuff.
Right, like someone's playing it and recording it privately. Sure. I just think that would be very extra. Someone has a lot of time on their hands. It's possible though. Like, but I'll just look, I called push-ups being real after my first few listens. I did. The chat said I was crazy. Then it came out I was right.
I did not think it was real. The original leaked version that Mel sent me, I said was very suspicious. The way he said "big in Japan," he says it on the official version too that way.
Yeah,
I've never heard Drake break down like a word like that, like, you know, Japan, and like turn it into like a 3-syllable word.
Right, because AI is usually kind of rigid like that, you know?
Yeah, it sounded kind of stilted, like AI delivery.
The thing that was weird about it.
And then the stuff, when he was talking about top, I'm like, ain't no way, this is fake. It sounded fake.
The thing that was weird to me about the Japan line is, since when does he talk about being in Japan?
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, but
you know, the whole thing was suspicious to me. And oddly, the one that Drake has said is 100% AI, I heard it and I'm like, oh, this is real. This one's real. It'll be out in CD quality when I wake up tomorrow morning.
You know, look, I'm 85% sure that one's real, and he's just covering his tracks.
Therein lies the problem. The fact that we're having this conversation is really at the heart of what you were talking to me about on the phone earlier, because, you know, I'm just going to say this. I don't know, you know, who to trust. And I did tweet something like this maybe a year ago when this shit started first popping off, saying something like, you know, one of my favorite things to do when I like an artist is to go and try to find like all their unreleased music. And I can't do that anymore with these new artists. or even with the old ones, because who knows what's being AI generated now. It's just like, I need more verification on shit like that I'm not going to get. And it's scary. We're living in a time where we're being subject to information warfare, and we're being gaslit potentially by these rappers using real songs and then telling us it's AI. I mean, this is a new frontier for rap beef. I mean, you had some more things to say about it.
Well, yeah, and that's where you're going is how I'm going to bring it home. Look, I thought Drake couldn't be any more of a weasel than he's revealed himself to be after a certain point, but he insists on proving me wrong these days. I wouldn't put it past him to see the reaction that this new snippet, the Whitney thing, got and tell academics it's AI when he knows full well, and this is what's gross, he knows full well he stood in his very human, non-robot body in the booth and rapped.
Allegedly, we've seen the Sprite commercial.
Nice. Listen, this would be the corniest thing he's ever done in my book.
Well, here's the thing. He also saw people debating whether or not the first one was real or not.
Right.
So he thought to himself, oh, wow, this is like a new way that I can, like almost, I can test music out with people, and then if they don't like it, I could be like, damn, the AIs are at it again, man.
Yeah. Like, imagine being so scared to lose the most important battle of your life that you're recording multiple possibilities, like Doctor Strange, like playing unofficial focus group on message boards and like YouTube accounts, and to see what strategy you should go with based on what the public's saying. Look, I hope I'm wrong for the sake of music in the world, but also with him, I'll never be able to look at him the same way again. I already had to eat that he has a ghostly pen back in 2015. I have, allowed objections in the court of law, basically, after he's proven himself to be like an insecure tyrant throughout like the latter part of the previous decade. I finally handed in my Drake enthusiast card upon For All the Dogs.
For All the Dogs, yes.
Because to me, that completed his transformation into Aubrey Tate. But this is a new level. This feeds into the real-time destruction of music that we've been seeing. He's playing this dangerous game for the sake of a rap beef.
And putting fake news out there. I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on with this Kendrick ghostwriter stuff. There was I would say like an unsourced rumor that kind of like blew up into a ghostwriting controversy this weekend with N95, where apparently a reference track was released, and now the writer is saying, no, that's not true, I didn't have anything to do with the song. So if that's the case and he's not just covering his ass, if this is all fake information, then we're playing with we're straight up putting out fake news now.
We're trying to sow seeds of doubt.
Yes. Rick Ross saying that he wrote Sicko Mode for Drake.
Or implying
that someone else wrote Sicko Mode for Drake.
Right.
Which, look, we've heard Drake ghostwriting stuff in the past. It's potentially true, but it doesn't matter if it's true or not.
Right. All that matters is that he said it.
And if you can believe it. If there's just enough, it's like, well, he has had ghostwriters before.
Right.
Who's to say he wouldn't do it again? I mean, there, is a plausible deniability there, if that's the word I'm looking for. But either way,
we're just in the era where people just have to say things. It doesn't matter if it's just saying it is enough, because now it's out there. That's what we're at.
It's very hard to trust what you see now.
Absolutely. Hear. And here, mainly, in this case. And that's like you were saying earlier. I thought about this earlier, after this, quote, Kendrick response was making the rounds, like, can't Drake himself make a fake Kendrick song? And There's two reasons to do that. One, to disorient the opposition, make them think what's going on, like who's doing this. Two, you get to pull that classic, like the B-Rabbit, like let's get out ahead of any potential criticisms by covering it myself, which also takes...
Even like take off the tinfoil hat, even if it's just a fan, the implications of this are being seen now, like on a pretty grand scale, for the whole world to experience. Is like, is this real? Is this not real?
It's a bad John. Okay, as Philadelphians would say. Okay,
and then not to mention you add in, the father Cam is like sent us something this morning in the Moles Mel and Cam group chat, and
he put a prompt into like a AI music generator.
There's an AI music generator. I think there's a couple of them now, but I think this is the more prominent one that they've been talking about, where you put in a description, you put in a tempo, and can you play what he sent us?
Yeah, let me pull it up through the phone here. I mean,
so we put in 125 beat per minute synthwave big drums.
Yeah, and this is hold on. And this is what popped out. Folks, if you've been on Bandcamp at any point in the previous 8 years, this is indistinguishable from like that whole, retro synth pop, synth wave.
Completely indistinguishable. So, that's where we're at now. It's absolutely terrifying.
Let the robots make the music, like that.
Now it's keep in mind, these AI records are people doing the records and then putting basically like a voice filter over it.
Yeah.
They're not having the AI write the records.
But that's coming. That's coming next.
Yeah.
It's already started.
If you look at the way that the prompt software has evolved on the video side of things and on the text side of things, you'll know that the writing music aspect is not far behind, because there's a song generator out there with the prompt where it puts vocals on the song for you too. And I mean, for years
that
we had
bullshit Lupe was working on
Songify, the Google thing that he was doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was like Song Exploder or something. It was like,
funny enough, this is the AI symposium we were meant to do back then.
Oh yeah. Y'all don't know, but you almost got that. But look, we had to record episodes of this show. Yeah, but this is basically that. Yeah, and it's gotten worse since then.
It's gotten much worse. So I'm almost glad we waited to this point where
now there's a, what's the phrase, like a use case or like
there's a use case where there's a rap beef going on. It's the biggest thing in rap, the biggest story,
the biggest possible beef. The two top guys.
There's fake songs and fake news stories and just all around confusion, and it's a direct result of this bullshit.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I mean, look, Drake might have put out this fake Kendrick song himself because he wants to, confuse the other camp and get out ahead of things. Because this is the way I thought about it. It takes ammo away from whatever real disc Kendrick's working on. Because if he covers ground Kendrick was planning on covering, Kendrick now has to take a different angle because the fake song already said it. So the public is going to expect something different than what they heard in the fake song. So my main point is this. This is not a rap beef as we've come to know them. This is psychological warfare. It's technological warfare. It's disinformation, misinformation, whatever it is. It's a sign of the times. This is nasty. This is about trickery and deceit, not lyricism and skill. It's about who can be more, what's the word, Machiavellian to win, basically, in the court of public opinion. If all this Drake stuff is real and he wasn't responsible, you got to look at it this way. His ammo's leaked. Perhaps this is what Weeknd was referring to, and like leaks in his opposition. And then in that case, if Kendrick knows what's coming through these leaks,
you mean?
Or what I say?
In his opposition.
No, it's operation. Maybe if Kendrick's hearing this and these are real leaks and say Drake has to downplay it like it's fake, it's advantageous to Kendrick's reply. So he knows what's coming. The even playing field is not even. If you're a hip hop fan, you got to be disgusted about that. And here's the thing, too, about leaks. And you know this because you've been as close to the music industry as me. It could be totally not malicious at all. It could be some weed carrier in OVO who's geeked about having the front row seat to the action. And he's playing it for a friend. And that friend's recording it in private and then sneakily playing it for their friends. And the next thing you know, it ends up on YouTube. Because that's how leaks happen. So, and that reminds me, I'm sure you've been seeing people change their tune on Cole. Like, I see now, maybe he knew about all this and this is why he backed up. I say if he knew about this, how nasty this would get with the AI and the confusion, yeah, he's like, hey, I thought we were going to rap like human beings, not do all these antics. Maybe. I don't know, but I'll end here. There's a lot of talk about.
Jumped in the first
yeah,
place.
He never should have jumped in. Never should have jumped in. That was my point. Back in parts 1 and rather
and if
part
you
2.
know anything about Drake, you know that it's never just going to be on some hip hop shit.
No. He will indulge in that, but he'll bring the extras too.
It's not going to just be on some hip hop shit.
Yeah. And that's why for all of this talk about, restoring the feeling, hip hop's back. Look, leaking disses, whether it was Drake himself doing it or Weeknd and Metro or Kendrick doing like disruption leaks, that's not restoring the feeling. Hey, not explicitly claiming the disses as yours once they leak is not restoring the feeling either. As of right now, he's yet to upload it anywhere. So
listen, that's not the determination on if a song is real or not.
No, but I'm just saying, in previous beefs, people stand on it. It's like, yeah, that was me. It's pretty much implied that he's standing on it, but like
were released or uploaded. They were just sent. Some of them were just sent to DJs.
Well, yeah, the DJs, and they were thrown on mixtapes and stuff. But like, you never heard people like when they were tagged, like Ja Rule diss or Benzino diss. They were never like, nah, it wasn't me. Or like, I'm sure if someone asked them, they'd be like, yeah, I made it. So look,
that's the new frontier that we're in.
Yeah,
and that's the point where. Quite frankly, I think this ends our analysis of the situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I'm not going to be coming back for status updates every time one of these guys disses each other in this environment. I'm done.
Good. That's a good way to put it. In this current environment, because AI is not restoring the feeling either. Look, this feeling is distinctly new and it's dark-sided. Okay, so I'm out unless we start getting some clarity
or a G-Unit radio mixtape and Drake joins G-Unit. Then I'll have no choice but to stand.
Well, yeah, G-Unit Soldier Moves will have no choice but to come back for a part 4. But as of right now, if it keeps playing out on this specific battlefield, don't anticipate any more updates. I'm not really feeling that.
And I do think what we do. We're not fucking NFR, okay? We don't do that shit.
No, we're way better than them. Okay?
We're not the Rap Radar accounts. We're not Joe Budden. Okay, we don't do any of this shit. We cover albums from the past.
Yeah, and a largely retrospective podcast who occasionally does live listens, formerly, first listen new album reviews, and we talk about current events, but it's not a current events program. Current events are to the weaved into things. Yeah, so. Yeah, folks, this is just how we feel.
Talking about cum, okay?
Well, we do talk about cum, sadly. But hey, we talk about hip-hop way more than our contemporaries. So there you go, folks. We're signing off until this thing gets back into a non-dystopian range. There you go. Part 3, Moles and Mel, the big 3.
Yep, and don't ever say there's no such thing as a Patreon part 1.